8 groups of 4 teams, but rather it will be one group of 36 teams, with the first 8 advancing automatically to the round of 16 stage, and the 9th to 26th team engaging in a playoff. And that's why we're here to educate you more on the new format of the UEFA Champions League. Not just that, but then also match day 1 has taken place across 3 different days, from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And some mouth-watering games we've witnessed so far in the UEFA Champions League. Bayern Munich were at home at the Allianz Arena, and they won by 9 goals to 2. And guess their victim? It was Dinamo Zagreb from Croatia. Quite a big win for them. For Pep Guardiola and his charges, they were frustrated to a 0-0 draw against Inter Milan at the Etihad. And guess what? 16-time champions Real Madrid was at home at the Bernabeu against Stuttgart, and it ended 3-1. But it was Endrick grabbing the headlines after choosing not to pass to Kylian Mbappe or Vini Jr. He just went straight for goal, and he ended up scoring his first ever UEFA Champions League goal. So it's the Al Media UEFA Champions League review show with me, Josiah. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and then also you can have your comment or your say in the comment section. Which team do you support? Did your team impress you? Which player impressed you the most after match day 1 of the UEFA Champions League? Mind you, is the latest or the newest format, and it's a bit confusing, but don't worry, I have here with me one of the best in the business, to take us through the education and also to review the games in the person of Atiga Mauli Force. Welcome, Atiga.
Thank you, Josiah.
All right, so we're talking about, the new format of the UEFA Champions League after 92, where, the European Cup had to go through a major transformation. We saw the new format being played with 8 groups, of 4 teams, and now it's quite different. It's more like, an open group where anyone at all can qualify, but all the teams don't get to play all the teams like we used to see. But this time, you get to play a team just once. It was a single phase robin, group stage affair. But what do you make of the new format?
Well, Joseph, before I go into the new format, I just want to say that I am not enthused. I am not happy with this new format because it is putting a strain. It is draining the players, and they've come out to clearly indicate the fact that the amount of matches that they are playing throughout the season is affecting them, mentally and emotionally. And I do very well agree with them because Rodrygo has come out emphatically to say that he's not happy with the amount of football that they are playing. Yes, they are being paid handsomely, but at the end of the day, you need to look at the fact that it is putting a toll on them mentally. And you see, it is very important for us to not lose sight of the fact that it is a long season. I get to the point, and players could play as much as 70 matches in the season, and it is at the highest level. So you are putting your body through strenuous activities, and it is not fair on them. And there's a likelihood, there's a mutual argument that they might even go on strike. You understand? Which is to me justifiable because they are under so much pressure to perform. And then coming to the new season, I think that as already indicated, it is not something that I am enthused with, you understand, because we are not going to see all the teams playing against each other, unlike in the previous forms where we have 8 groups of 4 teams each, right? And it is something new, it is something new, and I'm not going to sit here and be a push up to wanting to experience new things. But at the end of the day, we should look at the mental health of players as well.
All right, but would you say the Super League to some extent, forced UEFA into just, hastily come up with this new format? Because we saw what the Super League was about, more games, having the big guns, being pitched against each other week in, week out. And you wouldn't have to wait until the quarterfinals to enjoy, 2 elite teams going head to head. And right from the group stages, we have it happening. Do you think the Super League to some extent, had to force UEFA into adopting this new system?
Well, not necessarily, because this has been in the planning for quite a while. You understand? I mean, the adoption or the idea of the Super League might have hastened the implementation, but it is not entirely true that it is Super League that brought the whole idea into being, because a couple of years ago, I mean, the consensus of the game, the FIFA itself, had noted the fact that they wanted to change the format of the Champions League, to make it more competitive. But my point is always going to be the same, and it's always going to be one. When we are, you see, the greatest or the biggest stakeholders when it comes to football, it's not FIFA, not anybody, but the players. I get the point. So if we are making changes that are very, awesome, if we are making changes to the calendar in the whole season, and we are not factoring in the data, we are not factoring in the idea of the footballers or from the footballers who are the biggest or the major architects or the major stakeholders in the game, I think it's inappropriate in the first place. And you see, Josiah, we must not lose sight of the fact that there is so much money in football. And I'm not going to be far off if I say that this is based on money. The more money, the more matches you play, the more money you make. So are we trying to put the mental health of players vis-a-vis making much more money? And I think that's a very, very good and a valid question that we have to be asking. Is FIFA putting money ahead of players' mental health? That's a valid question. So I wouldn't say that it is because of the Super League, but it is something that is already in the planning. But the Super League might have hastened the implementation of this policy.
All right, so let's jump straight into match day one action. For the first time, it's unprecedented because we've seen UEFA Champions League group stage games being played across 3 weekdays, starting from Tuesday where we had the kickoff, Wednesday, and then also Thursday there were some games. But the biggest scoreline over the week obviously had to be Burnley staying at home and the Vincent Kompany at the Allianz Arena, and whitewashing Christian side Dinamo Zagreb. And guess what? Harry Kane made history again, scoring 4 goals and 3 from the spot.
Josiah, I am very happy for Vincent Kompany in particular, and then Bayern Munich as well, because prior to last season when they appointed Vincent Kompany last season, we all saw what the consensus said. We all saw the Nazis saying that the company is not going to lead Bayern anywhere. They are not going to go to the promised land with this company at the helm of affairs. But you see, he has started the season in a strong form. He has started the season one of the most emphatic ways. I get the point. I mean, starting the Champions League in your abode at the Allianz Arena, beating Dinamo Zagreb by 9 goals to, I think that's one of the biggest,
the second highest scoring game in the Champions League.
It just gives you an idea that Vincent Kompany is going to go to the promised land. Per what we have been able to see so far. Because if you look at what they've been doing in the league, I can just say that it is just a transfer of what they've been able to do in the league into the Champions League season. And it is a clear demarcation, it is a clear indication that what they are in for business. And the business is that they are going all out to win the championship. And they have laid down their marker. And I think it's going to go well for them.
As Santiago Bernabeu, we saw Kylian Mbappe get his first UEFA Champions League goal for Real Madrid. And then Rodrygo, also had to put them in front after leaving pegged back by Stuttgart. Stuttgart were very, very resilient on the day. And then we saw the teenager who just got married, that's Hendrik, also getting his very first UEFA Champions League goal. You think it was the best possible start for Real Madrid?
Well, you see, Josiah, I think the gods of football are going to be happy this week. You understand? I mean, they are going to enjoy in their stupor. In that, Hendrik did something that I think if you don't have composure, if you don't have experience, if you don't have temerity, if you don't have capacity, if you don't have audacity, you can never do. You understand? I mean, you see, up against Stuttgart, 2-1 in the dying embers of the game.
Yeah.
Madrid gets a fantastic break, a counter-attack.
Yeah, more like a 3v2.
It's more like a 3v2. Vinny, Hendrik, and then Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah.
All right. He takes the ball in their own defensive third, right?
Yeah.
And then for 40 to 50 yards, he drives the ball, thinking that he's either going to lay it off for either Vinny or Kylian Mbappe. But he says, no, I'm going to do it myself. And what did he do?
Yeah, but what has been the narrative he had missed?
You see, it just shows you the confidence that the guy has gotten. You understand? At the end of the day, you can't be playing for Real Madrid and not have that confidence about yourself.
It's not selfishness.
No, it's not selfishness. You understand? I mean, you are 2-1 up. You are playing at the Saint-Germain Bernabeu. What is the best possible way for you to introduce yourself to the crowd? I get to the point. If it were Vinny would have taken the shot himself. Kylian Mbappe probably would have taken it himself. And see, it is funny. It just shows you the instinct that he's got as a centre forward.
Yeah.
Practically, if that ball had been gotten by either Adagula or an attacking midfielder, the first instinct would have been what? To lay off the ball. I get the point. But as a centre forward, as somebody who has been trained to bang in the goals, the first instinct is not what? To lay it off or to create an assist. But the first instinct is to do what? To get a goal. And that's exactly what he did. So it just tells you that what? He's got that intuition, he's got that intrinsic ability to learn where the goal post is. And that's exactly what he did. And at the end of the day, that shows you that what? He's got an instinct, he's got that power about him. He's not scared of the momentum, he's not scared of the players he's playing with or he's playing against. He went and he did it. And he just lays down a marker that at the age of 17, 18, whatever that is going to be possible for him to come into the Bernabeu and be a starter or play a claim of being integrated into the team, is going to be integrated into the team and is going to go.
Trust me, that's one of the boldest decisions I've seen in football in recent times. Playing alongside two of, the biggest stars, and he decides to take that shot on his own. But at the San Siro, where AC Milan were host to Liverpool, I don't think that was what everyone expected. After Pulisic put AC up after 2 minutes, and then they slammed to a 3-1 defeat. Were you surprised by that scoreline after 90 minutes?
I was surprised and not surprised. If Liverpool had scored the first goal, yes, it would have been normal for them to go 2-3 up, right? But after AC Milan taking the lead, I thought that should Liverpool come into the game, it's either going to be a draw or a 2-1. But for AC Milan to be at San Siro and to have gotten ahead through Pulisic, for Liverpool who are not that at that level yet, to come into the game and then win by 3-1, I think that it is an indictment on the credibility of AC Milan this season. They haven't started well, right? Last week they won 4-0 against Venezia. So I thought that was going to be a strong start. That was going to be the starting point where they're going to kick off their season. But they've retrogressed once again. They've taken a step forward. They've taken 2 steps backwards. But you see, we don't necessarily have to blame the too much because we are not playing against Venezia. We are playing against one of the best teams in Europe, in Liverpool. So if you lose 3-1, it is not news, but at the end of the day, they just have to understand and appreciate the fact that this is the Champions League proper. You are not going to be given time to, come out of your slow pace. You have to start with pace. You have to start with all the momentum and the venom that you've gotten. Because if you lag behind, it's going to be practically impossible for you to overhaul that. So I think that it is a great defect. It's a great thing for Liverpool to have gotten the 3 points and 3-1. But at the end of the day, AC Milan must improve, and improve they have to.
All right, but the game that everyone was looking at, that game happened, and it was a repetition of the final in 2023, just last year in June, when Manchester City had the right to play against Inter Milan, and City, ended up edging them to win their first ever UEFA Champions League title. And guess what? In that game, yes, every action you expect from football, a bit of drama, tackles, temper swearing, but there were no goals. Were you disappointed?
I wasn't disappointed, Josiah, because funny enough, prior to the game, I told my colleagues that it's going to be difficult for goals to flow in the game, because Inter is not going to be a team that would open up too much playing against Man City.
Yeah.
And you see, Josiah, it is not every team that plays against Man City and then goes, gung-ho, and then goes into full attack. Any team that plays against Man City is either going to be defensive or a bit defensive. So it boils down to what Man City is going to do. And on the day, they were profligate. On the day, they spawned a lot of chances. But what really matters is the fact that Inter Milan have been able to hold, Man City at the Etihad to a goalless draw. And I think that is going to boost their confidence going into the subsequent matches, because you are playing at the Etihad against one of the biggest teams in Europe, if not the biggest, because currently what Man City is doing is unprecedented. You understand? I mean, having won the English Premier League 4 times on the bounce, coming to Europe, I mean, they recently won the UEFA Champions League right against Inter Milan. So it just tells you that it's going to be, it was a difficult match for both sides, and they've been able to acquit themselves in a row. So a 0-0 drawn game, it wasn't a boring game. It was a tactically, even match, and I would say that if Inter Milan is able to, withstand the might of Man City, then it means that going forward it's going to be a bit easier for them, to maneuver the remaining matches. But if they are not able to, kickstart whatever they started, because the way they started the league last season is not the way they started this season. The form they started with the Serie A last season, it has dropped a bit this season. But if they want to make an impact in Europe, as they have always wanted, because the last time they won the Champions League was in 2012.
Yeah, 2010.
2010. So if they want to repeat that, then they will have to up their performance.
Right, but for newcomers, Aston Villa, they were playing in the Champions League for the first time, in 41 years. The last time they won it was in the 81-82 season, but they were back and away in Switzerland. They managed a 3-0 win over Young Boys. Were you just, surprised by that performance from Unai Emery's men? Because they've been out of the Champions League for over 4 decades.
It doesn't matter how long you've been out of the Champions League. If you are well prepared, well oiled, well versed in what you are doing, and you have the technical know-how, you have the materials and the equipment to do what you are doing, it doesn't matter whether you've been out of the Champions League, whether you've been out of the competition for a decade, 2 or 3 or 4. You come into the Champions League and then do what you have to do. Against the Young Boys, I thought that Unai Emery knew that what they had them to be taken, and they went to Switzerland and they were in the full attacking mode, right? 3-0 against Young Boys in Switzerland. It's a good start. It's a great start, by the way. But I feel that Unai Emery has a well-oiled machine where if they're able to put their act together, and you realize that in the Premier League they are doing well as well. So if they're able to combine the Champions League and then the EPL well, then they might be able to have a good season. But you see, the difficulty when it comes to teams like Aston Villa, who do not have the momentum, who do not have the financial power to have a squad full of stars. Because if you look at a team like Man City or Real Madrid or Barcelona, they have the financial muscle to have a squad where a squad related the stars, so they can manage 4 competitions. But has Aston Villa gotten the same financial muscle, the same financial power to juggle 4 different competitions? So if they are able to, fine. But if they are not able to, then it's going to be telling on either their performances in the EPL or in the Champions League. But so far, so good. They've been able to, climb the first hurdle.
Bayer Leverkusen traveled to Rotterdam, and the Quip, they beat Feyenoord by 4-0. Quite emphatic from them, isn't it?
Quite emphatic, but I wasn't surprised because they are just continuing from what they did last season, right? Because last season they were an imperious when they were fantastic form, and this season they started in the league. They are doing well in the Champions League. This being the first match in the Champions League, I thought that it was going to be a bit difficult for them, but they went to Holland, and then they put in the performance that is fit for the day, winning 4-0. So I think that the Dutch are not able, the teams from the Netherlands are not able to put, their strength across compared to what they are known for when it comes to Eredivisie. Because you look at teams like PSV, who was beaten by Juventus 3-1. You look at teams like Ajax, who when they come to the Champions League, they're not able to exert their influence. Unlike in the 80s and the 70s, where you have teams like Ajax and the PSV winning the Champions League and the UEFA Cup. Currently, you realize that they don't have that momentum on their side. But on the day, I think Bayer Leverkusen was great, but it's nothing new. We've seen them last season do better than this. So I think that yes, it aids in their progress and to just cement the fact that last season was in the fluke.
And to our player of the week, Harry Kane. What do you have to say about his performance? 4 goals, first game UEFA Champions League game of the season, and he banks in 4. You think Ronaldo's all-time record, scoring 17 goals in a single UEFA Champions League season, is under threat?
It is under threat because you are not playing more games. You understand? Because now you are playing much more games. So if you have a Harry Kane being coached by a coach who believes so much in attacking football, and he's got players like Leroy Sané, he's got players like Musiala who are going to create the chances for him, then yes, the probability that he's going to overhaul Cristiano Ronaldo's record is likely. It's very likely. So I think, yes, it's very likely that Cristiano Ronaldo's record is under threat.
All right, so let's confirm some of the results from match day 1 of the UEFA Champions League. Villa getting a good win. Juventus also getting themselves a 3-1 win at home at the Allianz Stadium. Sporting also winning against Lille. So confirmation of the results from match day 1, which was played across 3 weekdays. It started on Tuesday and then on Thursday in the UEFA Champions League. Guess what? It's a new format in the Champions League, so you just shouldn't be lost, but you could just watch this video and really be educated and informed, and be abreast with the new format of the UEFA Champions League. So it's no longer 8 groups of 4 teams, but now it's a 36-team league in Europe, with each team playing 8 times in the group stages, which is quite, mind-boggling, considering the fact that no one saw this coming, but that is the new format of the UEFA Champions League. Thanks very much for your time on the review show of the UEFA Champions League on our media podcast. My name is Joseph. Thanks also for having me, but don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget also to share, be part of the family, and then also leave your say in the comment section. Hi, welcome to Soccer Punch on the Our Media channel with me, Josiah. Today the show is going to take a bit of a twist, so we'll be going a normal banter way, but today we'll be tackling some issues hampering football in general. Of course, just recently we saw Barcelona and French right back that Jules Koundé in a presser questioning how do I even put it, why on the welfare of players in recent times, because he feels that even the expansion of the UEFA Champions League games and also games from the La Liga as well as some domestic cup games is making it even more tiring and straining for some of these players, and he believes that at some point the players will be forced to go on strike. Earlier on, we heard from Rodrygo also, making such concerns about the congestion of fixtures for players in recent times, which doesn't really help their health and also mental health, if I should put it. So physical health being at stake and then also mental health on the line for some of these players. I don't know what you think. You could also be saying that, these players are being paid huge sums of money to play just 90 minutes over the course of 3 days. So they shouldn't be complaining. But the players are also saying that, no, the pressure on them is becoming too much, increasing by the day, and they feel that UEFA and their respective, governing bodies should have something to do with regards to, decreasing the games for them, so at least they can also enjoy their lives. But locally in Ghana, there's been a major shake with regards to the National Sports Authority, where recently we got to know that the government or the office of the president has expelled the chairman of the NSC Ashanti region, which came at the back of the NSC being proactive and closing down the Accra Sports Stadium for some renovation works. But the president feels that it was a little bit too late by the NSA. But the question we're also asking is that we see the closure of several stadiums across the country. Accra Sports Stadium wasn't deemed fit to hold any CAF Category 2, 3, 4 games. We also saw the Tamale Sports Stadium. Isipon has been closed for over 2-3 years now, and then also the Cape Coast Stadium. So why weren't those NSA bosses being sacked? But some people are also saying that the president maybe perhaps was sleeping and he just woke up and found out that Kumasi or Accra Sports Stadium has been closed down, and he felt that the scapegoat should be their NSA boss. So these are other matters we'll be discussing here on the Soccer Punch, and my guest is someone you all know. He is a usual suspect on the show. That's Atiga Maulifos. First, welcome.
Thank you.
Some very, very interesting issues we need to deliberate on the show today, and I would want to have your thoughts on some of these issues. First, let's just jump straight to Europe and see what's happening over there. Some players complaining already, saying that after UEFA came up with this new format in the Champions League, any team that manages to get to the final will play 17 matches as against 13 from the previous editions. And you have, even in England, you have FA Cup games, Carabao Cup games, you'll be playing in other games as well, domestic league, 38 games. You think it's a genuine call, it's a right call as well from these players. Rodrygo first, the Spanish international, and then Jude Bellingham also saying that there could be a strike from the players. You think you side with them, or you also say, yeah, you're making millions of money? Why complain?
Well, this is a two-edged sword. You understand? I mean, somebody can just oppose the fact that they're making a lot of money. But I think that you would be mentally, I think you would have a problem mentally if you say that players should not complain because they're making a lot of money. We have a profession, right? A profession that is not sustainable over a long period of time. When you're a footballer, it is not guaranteed that you're going to play football at the highest level for more than 2 decades.
Yeah.
It is not even guaranteed that you're going to play football at the highest level for 5 to 10 years. I get to the point. And you see, one of the jobs that has the greatest burnout is soccer. You understand? Because in the season, you are playing close to 65, 70 matches. And in these matches, you are putting your body through an exertion rate that is higher than the average person. And you see, when people make the argument that you are playing 90 minutes in a week, do you know what goes into playing for 90 minutes in a week? Players, certain teams will have their different training schedules, right? But on an average, you train for like 4 hours a day. So imagine if you are training for only 4 days a week. So you time the 4 days plus the 4 hours a week.
16 hours a week.
16 hours a week. Purely running, purely tactical work. I get to the point. And Josiah, I have been a player before. In a week I run more than 20 kilometers just to make sure that my body has the right frame to withstand 90 minutes, just 90 minutes. But what we go through to be ready to prepare for that 90 minutes, it's not what you see on the day or on a game day. So I think very well that the players are justified in making their complaints because I don't think that UEFA or FIFA did consider the player welfare or player, what's the name, mental health before bringing this what's the name?
New format schedule, the FIFA club. But the question, the bone of contention here will be: I'm paying you 250,000. Wait. We've gone to the match. I'm paying you 250,000 pounds a week for you to run or train for 16 hours and play 3 games in 7 days. 250,000. Doesn't that even complement what you're doing?
It doesn't complement, Josiah. When you want to justify, or if you want to juxtapose, or you want to put vis-a-vis the monies they earn and the man hours they put in.
Yeah.
The man hours they put in far outweigh the monies they earn. I am telling you.
Are you kidding me?
Have you run before?
Of course, I'm a sports player.
We have to be fair in our analysis.
We're doing.
A lot of the penalties are not fair on this player. You understand? I mean, you can't justify that somebody earns $250,000. So his mental health should not be taken into account.
His profession pays.
That is why it is not any profession.
So that's what I'm asking.
That is why we are talking about football.
Of course.
At the end of the day, whatever happens in football remains in football.
Yeah.
That is why you are not a footballer. That's why you are a journalist. That is why I am a talker. So at the end of the day, if I am going to talk for 2 hours to make money, I talk for 2 hours. And the players are saying that what? For them, playing 70 matches a season is a burnout issue. It is a mental health issue. I get to the point. It's a stress issue. So what has UEFA or what has FIFA done?
Don't you think they are being overly pampered?
Pampered what?
They are being pampered. When even football, technology has made football even easier.
It's in so
many ways. Your training regimes, your match days, you don't even go out to
technology has made
football easier.
Technology has made football a bit more difficult because in the olden days all you had to do was to run and come and play. But today you have to put your body through a lot of stress because
you only train for
a nutritionist will tell you. Sorry, don't eat this
for your own good. For your own good,
it's for your own good. I am saying that what players go through nowadays just to be match fit, right? Every single week for 54 weeks. Do you understand? And you see, we are not even talking about jet lagging. I get to the point. Every single week, players are taking coaches, players are taking plays, players are taking plays. Traveling here and there.
It's part of the business.
I am not saying it's not part of the business. It's part of the business. That's why there's a lot of money in the game. But they are saying that if you want to juxtapose what they are doing, the 1 hour they are putting in and the money they are making, you can't put money above somebody's health. You can't put money.
I don't think that's what the UEFA is prioritizing.
UEFA and FIFA wants to make much more money.
That the players are actually making money.
They are not making much more money. They are making money.
There's been over 30% increase in prize money in the UEFA Champions League with regards to the new format. You're telling me
that is the class.
It trickles down to the players.
It doesn't trickle down to the club. If you sign a 5-year contract, you sign a 7-year contract, and there's a prize money increment, how do you benefit from that?
The winning bonuses.
The bonuses have been signed already because they are embedded in the contract.
No, per the figures, being prepared or issued out by UEFA. It depends. It doesn't. Your bonuses are not fixed. They are not fixed. Yes, certain bonuses are fixed. Yes, but not all bonuses are fixed within the season. So they tell you, okay, when you're able to advance on the group stages, you get to the round of 16. We add this amount of money to it, and that amount of money definitely the player is going to have his fair share. So you can't tell me that these bonuses are fixed. No, some
I am not laying credit to the fact that bonuses are fixed. What I'm trying to say is that we can justify the fact that the UEFA is trying to put money above player health.
What do you think should be the way forward?
There's no way forward because this is not something that has been tried. This is a policy that has been implemented.
Of course. So what's the way forward? If there should be a change,
I don't think that there's going to be a change. I get to the point. It is up to the players now to fight for their mental health. It is up to the players now to fight for what they think is right by them. And if at the end of the day you are going to put money above mental health, if you are going to put money above player welfare, then I don't think that as a regulatory body, UEFA is doing the right thing.
Wow, that's quite interesting. So that's with regards to players complaining so far. The latest player to complain is Jude Bellingham of Barcelona and also the French national team, saying that at some point the players will be forced to call strike. That's what they're saying. But let's just come down locally where there's been news. The NSA has been the most popular, institution in recent times in Ghana, because everything has to do with the NSA, especially with regards to the maintenance and the rehabilitation of our various stadiums. But what we are hearing from the office of the president, that's the top decision maker, and he says that he's not happy with the works of the NSA boss in Ashanti region, and he has called for his sack. But you side with the president that after the closure of the Accra Sports Stadium, the closure of the Tamale Sports Stadium, Isipon, and then the Cape Coast Sports Stadium, we didn't hear of the sacking of their respective NSA bosses.
I think that the president hasn't done well. The NSA boss in Kumasi has been sacked. That is fine. I think that what's the name? The minister for the US Sports should have been sacked.
He should have been sacked as well.
No, he should have been sacked as well. The NSA boss in Accra should have been sacked as well. All the NSA bosses who are managing the various regional stadiums should have been sacked.
Based on
the fact that they've been inept, based on the fact that they don't know what they are doing, based on the fact that they are square pegs in round holes, based on the fact that they have been politically appointed and they know nothing about sports management or facilities management. Josiah, nobody can tell me, right, in my right senses, that when Ghana is going to play a match, a week prior or 2 weeks prior to that match being played, you close the stadium for footballing activities, and you allow a church to come and host a program in that stadium.
They're trying to raise funds.
But to me, I think you are shown a level of stupidity that I think that has never been shown before. If a stadium is built for football.
Yes, but when the football is not able to generate
if the revenue being generated by hosting church programs are the same revenues that are going to be used to maintain the stadium, but they are still not going to be in the right shape, then of what benefit, of what use is those money?
But at the end of the day, you have teams playing on the same pitches, and the pitches keep on deteriorating.
The pitches do not deteriorate.
They deteriorate because there isn't enough being raised for these football games.
Josiah, what football, what pitches are made for is for football.
Yes, but not just pitches.
The only thing that football. Yes. Pitches are meant for football,
but not only football.
They are meant for football,
but not only football.
They are meant for football.
Your bedroom is not only meant for you to sleep in.
The bedroom is meant for you to sleep.
That's not only for you to sleep in.
That's why you have a sitting room.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, but you don't only sleep in your bedroom. But you only sleep in your bedroom.
What do you do in your bedroom?
Do you only sleep in your bedroom? Don't swear. What do you sleep in my bedroom?
I only sleep.
You only sit. You only sit.
I only sit in my sitting room.
And you only cook in your kitchen.
I only cook in my kitchen. What do you do in your kitchen? No, what do you do in your kitchen? What do you do?
No, I'm asking you. What do you do in your kitchen in this center? We've seen the company being rented out for, some recreational purposes.
Yes.
Weddings, parties.
Yes.
We've even seen the Old Trafford being rented out.
Just like almost all the stadiums in Europe.
That's the point. So that's what I'm saying, that aside football is the topmost priority. But aside football, there are other recreational activities.
There are other recreational activities, but they have created an avenue for those pitches. That's what I'm saying.
Do you know how much if you don't have?
Yes. If you don't have the team.
But we have some few minutes left.
No, I'm saying that. If you don't have the equipment and the materials to keep the stadium in shape after hosting these programs, then it is better to not host them. I get the point. Let's keep the pitches as they are, because to be banned from playing football in your own country. I get the point. It's the highest form of disgrace. It's the highest form of discrimination. It's the highest form of stupidity that we can show as people. And to me, I feel that our sporting hierarchy, the people in our sporting activities in this country are inept. They do not know what they are doing. If they know what they are doing, then the corruption has been embedded into them to the extent that all the stadiums that we have paid monies for that have not been done well, they have to be sacked, they have to be tried, then they have to be jailed if found guilty.
I don't know what you have to say, but the comment section is open for you. You can have your say in the comment section. Bye for now.